Hello friends, welcome to my channel Go Digit. Today in this video we will learn more about file management. Okay, so as you know last week we have started this file management series where we are learning about the functions of the file management which are compatible with the cloud. Okay, because right, we all know that whatever the functionality we have developed for our on-prem customers, there are certain functions in the file management code unit which are now deprecated because with the cloud we cannot access the client file system directly. Okay, so in the last series we have learned about the two functions called upload into stream and download from stream. With these two functions, we have seen that we can easily access the files which are available in the client machine and import them into the Business Central or download them to the client file system from the Business Central. Okay, so now these are the two methods which can help us to redesign our functionality which we have developed for the on-prem. Now, in the second part of the series, we will learn about two more functions through which we can work on this file management part. So, we all have heard about the blob type, blob field, which we can under which we can store any type of file, like whether it could be a text file, whether it could be a CSV file or Excel file or any type of picture, we can directly store them on those fields. Okay, so because of this field availability, you could say it's a boon for the on cloud developers that we can use this functionality and can eradicate the hurdles which we are facing while having a transition from the prem to the cloud. Okay, so let's see that how we should do it. So for this, as you can see that we have already created one table and a few pages of it. If I show you the table, here we have created three fields. One is the number, which is itself a primary key. Second is a blob file, under which it's a blob type, and we will store all the files which we want to in this particular field. And of course, the file name, which will help us to identify the name of the file which we are uploading into the Business Central. Okay, so this video is all about the blob storages. Okay, and so let's begin with that. This is my card, and as you can see, we have already made two actions here. One is of blob import, and second one is blob export. Okay, so first, what we will do, we will import any type of file into my Business Central, and then we will export the same. Okay, so for this, let's we have I'll go to the code unit first, and here let me create one procedure called import blob. Okay, and let's create a definition of it. And because we are working on the file management, so let's create one code unit called file management as a variable, and let's see if there is any function available in the default file management to work with the blob files. So yes, we have blob export and blob import. Okay, so we will use these functions. Call this in the import, and let's see the parameters it takes. The first parameter it takes is of var temp blob, and second one is the name. Okay, and it returns the text type. So basically name is something which it takes it as a uh, variable, and it returns, because it returns the text type, so it returns the file name which you have imported. Okay, so of course we want the file name. We have created one field in our table, and we have to pass one uh, text type variable here, which will actually this will return to our file name field. So what we can do that because it is taking var type temp blob and the name itself. So let's go back to the card and create one variable of temp blob code unit as temp blob. Okay, and of course we have to call our test code unit, because from here only we will call our function test cu code unit test. What's the name of this code unit? My code unit. So let me call it as my code unit. Okay, so here we have test cu dot import blob. All right, so we have called it. Now because we know that the function which we are calling under this function import blob, it takes two parameter. One is a var type temp blob and one is the file name. So of course we can call this temp blob here, and because we want the file name also, so here what we do is directly pass the field name in this function. Okay, let's go back to the code unit here and let's call it, define the parameters temp blob. Okay, so because it's a var, so let me call it as var temp blob, its code unit temp blob, and of course another one is I will call it as field name as text. Okay, let's create another variable here called file name. It's of again of the text type. So now we have all the variables defined which this blob import function actually takes. So just call it here. First one is the t blob, so we will pass it, and the second one is the file name. Okay, and because it returns a text and we want that the text it returns is actually the file name and we want it in my field name, so that's it. All right, so what it is doing now, if you see from the page, we call our code unit function from our page and pass these variables. Okay, now it runs the file management blob import function by taking these variables, and once this function will run, it actually runs in if you go into the definition of this function, it basically calls the upload into stream function first, because obviously we have to upload some file, and when we upload some file, it basically upload the same file in our temporary blob. Okay, and because this temporary blob is of var type, so it will definitely hold all that information and pass it to my page. And again, the name of the file which we uploaded, it will this function first pass this into this variable, and of course we are passing the file name in our field name. All right, so now our definition or of calling this file management function is done here. All the files which we have uploaded by using this function is now available under the T blob. So let's go back to the page itself and see how we can use this temp blob and pass whatever information this temp blob variable holds to my blob type field. So for this, of course, the first thing which we have to write here is that we have to read whatever is available in my temp blob. Okay, so let's create variables as in stream, outstream. Okay, so now because the stamp blob variable already holds my file because I use the same variable in this blob import function. So now it's time to read whatever this variable holds and I pass it into the in stream. Okay, now because whatever is available in the in stream, I want to pass it to my blob field. So for this, let's blob file, and blob file is having these functions: create in stream, create out stream, and so on. So yes, of course, first of all, I have to create out stream. Okay, because I want to write whatever is available in my in stream to the out stream. So I created one out stream, instantiated one out stream variable, and then I can use one function called copy stream. So copy stream function basically does is that it copies the information from the in stream to the out stream. Okay, because temp blob is having my value, my file, which I passes it in the in stream, and now from the in stream I am passing the values to the out stream. And because this out stream is actually a part of this blob file field, so whatever things are writing into this variable is actually going into the blob file. Okay, that's it. Now I'll just call modify because it's my field, table field, and this is it. Only this lines of code can do our task. Can through this we can directly call or we can upload any type of file, and uh, through this stamp blob help we can pass every information which we uploaded into the temp blob to my blob field. Okay, so this is how we can use the blob storages by importing any sort of file in the blob type field. Let's understand about the blob export. Okay, so for blob export, let me go back again here and let's call another function called export blob. So first, of course, we have to create one variable of file management, and its code unit is file management, and file management dot export blob, sorry, blob export. Okay, let's see what parameter it takes. Again, same, it takes the same var temp blob, name, and common dialog. Okay, so let's common dialog is just a boolean. Okay, so let's call it like this only. I'll pass like this here, copy, or should I paste it here? Yes, of course, I should paste it, and now what we can do is just pass this information as tblob. The second one is basically the second one is we have to pass the file name. Actually, let's create one variable now, which we have created here, but we don't want it as var. So rather than var, because we are not like we have to modify anything in my field name. Okay, so whatever information is available in my field name, I just want the same name here. So field name, okay, and of course the third parameter it takes is common dialog. So common dialog is a boolean type field, and if we pass it true, okay, by default we should pass it true because if we pass it true, then only when the system, when the business central export your file, it will export it by the same name of that particular file with which it is stored, okay, or with which you are passing it as under the field name. Otherwise, if you pass it as false, then it will uh, it will not download the file under with the same data or with the same name of the file which you have imported, but it will create first of all a file under your file system and give some GUID kind of name to your file and then only download. Okay, so of course we don't want that. We want it as true because we want the same sort of information which is available or which is already imported in my blob field. Okay, so that's it. My definition of this blob export function is already completed. Now we have to go back to my page function again and call this. So of course, first variable I should create is temp blob code unit as temp blob. Okay, and my second code unit is cu code unit, my code unit. So call this function testcu dot export blob. Okay, and it takes two parameters. So first parameter is temp blob and second parameter is record dot file name. Okay, so now see, I want to export my blob value to my client file system. So first of all, I have to pass whatever is available in my blob field to this temporary blob. Otherwise, what it will export? Okay. So for this, first of all, I have to Kelsey field my blob file because blob is something which you cannot directly see what data it holds. So first we have to do the Kelsey field. Okay, so now we can now work with the data which is available in the blob file. Okay, after this, of course, we have to check blob file if it has some value or not. Maybe you have not imported already in your blob file, then how you will run the export function? First you have to import, then only you will export. So with this function, this actually ensure that if your blob which you are trying to export actually holds some value or not. So if it holds, then only do the things which we want to do. So first of all, let's type it. Yes, my blob has some value. Okay, and then uh, now this actually ensure that my blob has some sort of value. So of course, first of all, I have to uh, read that, right? Because we understand that if it has something, then first we have to read that also. So to read that, record dot blob file dot create in stream. Okay, so let me call this. Uh, you create these variables of in stream and out stream. Okay, so now because my blob has some value, so I am reading it and passing it to the in stream. Okay, now after I pass it to the in stream, yes, of course, I have to create the out stream also as out stream. All right, and then the same function of copy stream, and where we will copy whatever information is available in the in stream to the out stream. Okay, that's it. Now I can call this function because now my temp blob holds the information which is available in the blob file. Be using this out stream. First I read the file, First, I check the file that if it has some value. If it has, then of course I read the file in the instream. I instantiated my temp blob code unit under this outstream variable. Then I copy whatever information under this in-stream to the outstream. That means I'm copying the data from my blob field to the temp blob. Okay, and then because my temp blob now has some value, I'm passing this temp blob variable to the export blob function. And when it goes here, it will pass this temp blob to the blob export function of the file management, and then it will export the same. So yes, now let's call and else message. If your blob does not hold any value, then blob does not hold anything. Please import first. Okay, so this is how we ensured that export function should run only when blob field has some value, otherwise it gives us a message. I'm not giving an error. Okay, so this is how we have created the blob import and blob export, and this actually the criteria or the way to work with the blob storages. For your even the on-prem solutions, you can use it because it's cloud compatible and you can always move your solution or your extension to the cloud. So let's build this project first. And yes, it's done. So let's deploy this project. Okay. So guys, as I mentioned that because we have to find an alternative way to work or to redesign our existing functionality, which is already we have created in the on-prem solutions, uh, because ultimately our goal should be to move to the cloud. Okay, and to move to the cloud, we must have to adhere the rules, the protocols of the cloud itself. Okay, so in that manner, these functions are very much useful. You can always use them to work with the files available in the client file system. So once this cloud solution, this cloud business central will open up, we will see and run our functions. So let's see the page. It's the blob storage list. So let's search it. Blob storages list. Yeah, here it is. Currently it is blank, of course. So click on new, provide the some primary key itself, and now let's run the blob export and see if my blob has actually hold something or not. So now it is giving me a message that blob does not hold anything. Please import first. Okay, so of course we will click on this blob import, and now it is asking me to import something. So I'll choose, and let's say I'll choose this Apple picture only. Open it, and now you can see my file name actually holds the same file name which I uploaded. Okay, let's uh, upload some other type of file. Blob import, choose, and this time let's if I have something, let's import this PDF, bonus 8 fun vehicles, and see it imported and it provided the same name. Okay, bonus 8 fun vehicles.pdf, right? Now export these files one by one. Click on first, and now blob export. Now it is saying that my blob has some value, and click on OK, and it is already downloaded. If you go to the download section, you will see your file is now available. Okay, now move to the second record and blob export. My blob has some value and it downloaded, right? Bonus 8 fun vehicles. It provided the one here under the bracket because bonus 8 fun vehicles is already available. The same name file is already available in the download section. So that is why it provided or added this one. If you go to this download section again, you will find. Okay, so this is also again another way to work with the files which are available in your uh, client file system, and you can directly access them, store them in the business central, and of course if you want you can delete them also by deleting the complete record, or you have to create one more function to delete the same. So you have to clear whatever it is available in the blob file field. So it is very easy now to work with the files which are available in the client file system. So that's all, guys, in the today's video, which I wanted to share with all of you. Of course, in the next week we will learn something new, something exciting. So till then, very goodbye. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this.